You're now the attorney in fact for the state name.
No, sir, Mr. Thompson, you know I don't put up with any of that. You understand?
Right.
Listen to me.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You understand I'm not going to put up with that.
Yes, sir.
Not anything like that. You understand? Do you understand me?
Yes.
There's not going to be any private citizen, sovereign citizen, any of that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Voice 1. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we're heading down to Florida to check out one of my new favorite judges, someone who runs a no-nonsense courtroom, especially when it comes to sovereign citizens and their fictitious license plates. And when I say no nonsense, I mean it in a way that looks a little something like this.
Before the court today for your affidavit of violation of probation, you filed a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. I've denied most of it. I'm going to probably deny the rest of it.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got some education to go, huh?
Sir?
So I've got some education to go.
Yes, sir. You're here today by, you got a new law violation of driving my license suspended or revoked. You don't want to have an attorney appointed to represent you?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
But that's the thing is, I've never even been pulled over. I don't know how I got a license or a warrant or anything. I haven't been pulled over in more than a year. Any emergency contact. I went to go pick up a records request and they gave me a warrant instead of the records.
Do y'all know anything about this?
As to the new law.
Do you have a driver's license?
No, sir.
Don't answer that. I shouldn't ask that question.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Strike that from the record. I won't do that if you won't do any other mess. I won't ask you that question.
His name is Judge Brantley Clark, and he doesn't around. We've got 4 different appearances to cover from his courtroom today, so let's dive right in.
But you transfer that to?
Just filed. I just filed in the court file.
I tried to and they wouldn't accept it.
All right. Was he arrested? Is there a new arrest for driving license suspended or revoked? State?
Yes, there was a bench warrant issued on 1/23/24 that was executed 1/29/24.
Said I was just doing a records request and had an agreed upon date to pick it up, went up there to pick it up and gave me a warrant. So the records are requested.
I tell you what, I'm gonna let y'all
Return
do that. Listen, I'm gonna leave him on probation. I'm gonna set this for preliminary on April. What's that April date?
April 17th.
April 17th. I'm gonna let him take care of that in county court and see what happens, okay?
Thank you.
And I think that's the only violation he had.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing on this, and then we'll see you back in April, and you can take care of that in county court, okay?
Right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sign a notice.
Judge Clark almost made a big mistake there. He nearly asked the defendant to admit on the record that he'd driven without a license. If the defendant had actually said it, and that statement had been used against him, this idiot might have had a shot at getting any resulting conviction thrown out.
State your name, sir.
The beneficiary, said Alexander, a human being.
Mr. Alexander, I don't accept any of that. If you want to state your name, state your name. If you don't, that's fine.
I'm Cedric Alexander, the beneficiary, sir.
No, sir, I don't. The beneficiary doesn't mean anything to me. It says, are you Cedric Alexander?
I'm a human being, Cedric Alexander, not the corporation.
What I'm be held with that.
I'm a human being, not a fictitious entity.
On your first appearance, I'm going to appoint the office of public defender. You've got a failure to appear on a misdemeanors. I have ordered to be held without bond on that. I'm going to leave that as it is. You got a possession of methamphetamine and see, that might be all the same thing. Yeah. You just got a failure to appear.
The officer didn't even come and do depositions because there's a lot.
You've got to drive my license suspended or revoked. I'm gonna find there's probable cause. I'm gonna set. That's a third degree felony, punished for 5 years. Florida Department of Corrections. I am going to set a $5,000 bond. I'll see you March 11th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, go ahead and step out for me.
So here's what happened. This guy drove to the records office to get some paperwork, and they noticed he was driving without a license. A citation was issued later, and technically, that charge could trigger a probation violation. But Judge Clark is letting him handle the matter in county court first, before deciding whether to hit him with jail time or revoke his probation entirely. Next up is just an arraignment, short and sweet, but trust me, it's still pretty wild.
Hearing you're representing yourself, you know, at any point in time, you can ask an attorney to be appointed to represent you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you still wish to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Loving, you can call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Officer Zip. Richard Zip.
All right. Just swear the witness in.
Promise with the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Richard Ziff,
Where are you employed?
Panel City Police Department.
Were you working in November of 2023?
I was.
On November 11th, 2023, did you have occasion to come in contact with Defendant Josiah Beecham?
I was.
How did you come in contact with him?
It was an investigative stop. Mr. Beecham's vehicle was having a hard time maintaining its lane. I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle. Vehicle drove over the curb. Immediately when I stopped the vehicle, I can smell marijuana coming from within the vehicle while still sitting inside my own vehicle. As I got closer to the vehicle, I can smell the marijuana getting stronger. When I made contact with Mr. Beecham in the driver's seat, I informed him the nature of the stop, also told him I smelled marijuana in the vehicle. At that point, Mr. Beecham was saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida, making other statements that he was not driving, he was traveling.
I love it short and sweet. If he doesn't want to identify himself, throw him in jail. If he does, keep him in jail for violating probation. Now, the next two hearings are a bit longer. First up, we have a probable cause hearing where a sovereign citizen tries to act as his own lawyer and fails spectacularly.
And at one point, I asked him to identify himself. He refused to identify himself. He began to call 911 and requested a Bay County deputy respond to the scene because he refused to cooperate with me.
Officer Zip, at some point, based on the smell of marijuana, did you search the vehicle and Mr. Beecham's person?
I did.
During that search, did you locate anything of note, of significance?
We found trafficking amounts of controlled substances. I believe we were, one of them tested positive for cocaine. There was marijuana and we believe fentanyl.
Did you find any firearms during the search?
There was a firearm located underneath the driver's seat that Mr. Beecham was sitting on.
I think you mean it was under the travel pad he was resting his brain on. But now, I think it's time we open the cage and let this beautiful mind soar right into a steel industrial fan.
Did you run a criminal records check on Mr. Beecham?
We did.
Did you find out whether he had been previously convicted of any felonies?
He was on inmate release status for a felony. I believe the same charges.
No, that's all my questions at this time.
Mr. Beecham, any questions?
Yes. So did I have a passenger in the car with me at the time?
You did.
Upon you saying you smelled the smell of marijuana, did I say that I smoked hemp?
You did admit to it.
I said I smoked hemp, right?
You said you smoked marijuana.
Sir, did you have on a body cam?
I did.
And okay, thank you, Your Honor. So I said, so your body cam was on at the time, and did you get any competent basis on the traffic stop as far as like a recording of that video?
I don't have a dash cam.
You don't have a dash cam in your car?
We don't have dash cams in Panama State Police cars.
That's cool. And that was failing to maintain the lane. Okay, was it any other traffic on the road?
You were the only vehicle.
Okay, and how long were you behind me before you actually pulled me over?
I was behind you about 2 blocks, watched you drift over the center line several times.
Several times, drift off the line. Did you have to catch up to me? You know, I have a dash cam and rear view cam. I'm probably gonna introduce the what you call it. Did you actually have to catch up to my vehicle, or?
I did not have to catch up that much. I was right behind you.
I'm saying that the stretch of the road was we was traveling on Beach Drive. That's right.
Yes.
And you were behind me the entire stretch of Beach Drive.
No, I was behind you by Balboa.
By Balboa is when you got behind me. Okay, and so when did you notify me or the passenger about any of the drugs or gun?
Immediately.
Immediately? And what was said about the drugs or gun? What did the passenger say?
The gun was found after you were already detained. We searched the vehicle and it was underneath your seat.
Okay, and Was the vehicle registered to me?
Vehicle was registered to your girlfriend.
Okay. And so, where were the drugs or anything found in the vehicle?
You had drugs in your pocket. And there was also drugs in the back seat behind your seat.
And you found the drugs?
I found a bag of white substance in your right front pocket.
What about any vehicles in the car?
There was a bag in behind the driver's seat that had several other bags that were wrapped in a clear plastic baggies that was behind your seat.
Okay, and so what did you question the passenger on?
That would be my partners who questioned the passenger. I questioned you.
Yes, and what did I admit to any of the drugs?
You refused to talk to me other than saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida.
Exactly. And so you notified me on drugs being found in the car on the scene, you're saying?
Everything was notified to you. I tried reading you implied consent. You refused to actually listen to me. You kept on saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida and you.
Yeah, I was saying you was violating the constitutional rights as well of unreasonable search and seizure.
What's wild about this guy is that he has enough brain cells to say all the words correctly, but clearly not enough neurons to make them make any sense. In other words, he's smart enough to claim his Fourth Amendment was violated, just not smart enough to explain how it actually was.
Because I never really got a direct quote on why you actually stopped the vehicle.
His all body came up.
Okay. And so you never had a conversation with the passenger?
I was mostly talking to you and searching the vehicle. I believe my sergeants wanted to talk to Mr. Wheeler.
Okay, and so you saying your passengers, your other one of your partners found the drugs that was actually in the car?
And I found drugs in the vehicle.
Or you found the drugs in the vehicle?
Yes.
Behind the driver's seat, you're saying?
And the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay. And you did already admit that I said I admitted to smoking hemp. Okay. And your vehicle is not, you say they don't got dash cams. Okay. So at the time, did you have a sight on the passenger and the driver at the whole time?
I was right there behind the A pillar or B pillar.
What was that, sir?
I was there the entire time and talking to you.
No, okay. So when you extracted me out the car, did you have eyes on the passenger at that time?
After I removed you from the car, I did not have eyes on the passenger, just you.
Okay, cool. And so in your report, you never wrote a ticket for the failing to maintain lanes, nor did you mention it in your affidavit of complaint.
It's going to be in my report, the narrative on the case.
Well, this was the probable cause, and this was the immediate review. So is it
Sustained. Ask a question.
okay? Is it a reason why you didn't mention it in your affidavit of complaint?
The affidavit only shows PC for why we arrested you. It doesn't state in there why I had to stop you. It just shows in there why I arrested you. And in regards to you maintaining a lane, that goes back to the DUI, which does not go on the complaint. That goes on the traffic ticket.
Well, you never mentioned anything of that nature in the ticket. So I was just wondering, is that protocol for you not to explain in the affidavit of complaint?
It's going to be in the report.
Okay, and you say you had a body camera on again, that's correct?
Sustain the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay, and so was it possible for any of the drugs to be the passenger?
It was all in your control. It was within your reach, behind your seat, and then you had drugs in your right front pocket.
I said, was it possible to be the passengers?
It could be possible, but the same drug that was in your right front pocket was also in that bag behind your seat.
What drug was in my right front pocket?
Cocaine.
And about how much was that?
You had a bag that was wrapped in your front pocket.
About how much?
I don't have the numbers on me right now. I have my report in front of me.
Okay. This is a copy of your report. You want
That's actually not my report. That's the affidavit complaint. My report's about 5 pages long.
okay. And so you seized the vehicle for failing to maintain a lane. You said, was any other traffic affected by the occurrence?
You were the only one on the road. You had a failure to maintain your lane several times and you drove over the curb.
What curve, actually?
The curb I stopped you at, I believe it was on Fairland.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I don't have any more questions.
Okay, is any redirect from the state?
No, Your Honor.
And the witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you can go about your day.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Beecham?
Your Honor, there's no actual competent and substantial evidence in the affidavit of complaint, nor was it any ticket issued for the actual, failing to maintain a lane, so, I mean, being that it was immediately after the arrest, I don't see how he had probable cause to stop me. And I actually asked him for, the sheriff to verify that, hoping that he had a dash cam in his car.
Mr. Sullivan?
Whether a traffic ticket was issued or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, it was.
I am gonna find there's probable cause for the arrest, and I believe that's what I'm here today to do as far as the adversarial preliminary hearing. So I found there's probable cause. We'll need another court hearing.
Do we have this transcribed?
You can file a motion to have it transcribed, yes, sir. We need to set another hearing. You understand, Mr. Beecham, at any point in time that you ask for an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you meet the financial requirements. You want to set up for another pretrial? Beecham? Let's set it for April 18th at 9 o'clock.
All right. That wraps up the third video. Judge Clark rightly found probable cause, as expected. We won't be seeing this guy in court again until mid-April. Now moving on to the fourth trial. A 3-day saga that kicks off with the defendant and his lawyer attempting to argue for the admission of an illegal tag. Credit where it's due, the lawyer puts in a solid effort, but he's up against Judge Clark, who is an absolute brick wall when it comes to sovereign citizen nonsense. Next voice 9. Now that's a terrible excuse. Even in states where the law says you must pull over safely when an officer turns on their lights, it has to be done as soon as possible. What the law does not allow is driving around town searching for the most crowded spot before stopping.
Exactly, that's not what you're going to trial for. All right, Mr. Merritt and Mr. Pereira, anything else on that, Mr. Merritt?
I think that's paragraph 1,
Okay.
but there's a second paragraph.
Right.
There's a second paragraph on there. The state is looking to exclude any testimony in terms of defenses related to the defendant's status as a sovereign and or a private citizen. I like to point the court to controlling authority in Barber versus Bay County Sheriff's Office jail facility. For the record, the site of that is 308 3rd Southern. It starts on page 254. I like to quote from this case, Your Honor, that says the sovereign citizen theory has no basis in the law, and parties that make it are in danger of court sanctions. And to our knowledge, no court in this country has ever found sovereign citizens to have any merit. They're relying on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals decision in the United States versus Beneficiary. For the record, that's 654, 3rd Federal 753, where it talks about where it's just not specifically about sovereign citizens, but encapsulates all of the arguments there. So regardless of an individual's claimed status of descent, be it as a sovereign citizen, a secured party creditor, or a flesh and blood human being, that person is not beyond the jurisdiction, and the court is correct in rejecting all of those claims. However, they are presented and they should be rejected summarily.
Mr. Barrett, your response? We're not raising it as a defense, but I believe that Mr. Baker testifies for the jury to understand what was in his mind on October 7th of this past year. They need to understand his ideology, his understanding of what he was required to do and how he could live his life. It's not, again, I cannot raise it to a defense, but I think we need to talk about what he felt in his mind.
If it's not a defense, why is it relevant?
For the jury to understand what was going on in his mind during the stop and.
Well, proper what you think the testimony might be.
It goes back partially to the tag, but he had thought he had registered the tag properly through the United States Department of Transportation.
Mr. Baker, that's enough.
He had a license that wasn't from the state of Florida. It was international license, but his license was suspended in the state of Florida. But when he was stopped, again, he was trying to ask the officer what was the purpose for the stop. The officer, immediately upon exiting his vehicle, prior to any fleeing, unholstered his service weapon, pointed it at the defendant, and began yelling at him to turn the car off, turn the car off. And after 30 to 40 seconds, fearing for his life, Mr. Baker left.
What does that have to do with being a private citizen or a sovereign citizen or anything like that?
In his mind, the basis of the state is now going forward on is a roll through a stop sign, which we